brought to you by TaleBot Bedtime Stories, personalized tales for kids aged 0 to 8. Want to create a bedtime story for your child? Visit talebotai.com/create. Now, let's sit back and enjoy the story.
Graham's Extraordinary Journey to Mount Olympus. A special bedtime story for Graham. Once upon a time, in a little town called Meadowbrook, there lived a 1-year-old boy named Graham. Graham was an adventurous little boy with bright blue eyes and a smile that could light up a room. Every night, as the moon rose in the sky, Graham's parents would tuck him into bed and tell him stories. But tonight, something magical was about to happen. As Graham's parents kissed him goodnight and turned off the lights, a soft glow enveloped his room. The walls seemed to disappear, and Graham found himself standing in a lush meadow filled with colorful flowers and gentle butterflies. Confused but not afraid, Graham looked around and saw a majestic creature approaching him. It was a magnificent winged horse named Pegasus. Pegasus bowed his head and asked, "Would you like to go on an adventure, Graham?" Excitement filled Graham's heart, and he eagerly nodded his head. With a leap and a flap of his wings, Pegasus carried Graham high up into the sky. They soared through fluffy clouds, over sparkling rivers, and above towering mountains. As they flew, Pegasus told Graham stories of ancient times and mythical creatures. After what felt like an eternity, Pegasus landed in a magical garden at the foot of Mount Olympus, the home of the mighty Greek gods. Graham's eyes widened with wonder as he saw Zeus, the king of the gods, sitting on his throne with a lightning bolt in his hand. Around him stood Athena, the goddess of wisdom, and Apollo, the god of the sun. Graham timidly approached Zeus and asked, "Can I meet the other gods too?" Zeus smiled and nodded. He called Hermes, the messenger of the gods, who led Graham on a tour of the marvelous palace. Graham met Poseidon, the god of the sea, and Aphrodite, the goddess of love. He even got to play a game of catch with Hermes and Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. After the exciting tour, Graham found himself in a grand hall where a grand feast was being prepared. He saw mouth-watering platters of ambrosia and nectar, the food and drink of the gods. Graham's tummy rumbled with hunger, and he couldn't resist trying a small bite. Instantly, he felt a surge of energy and warmth, as if he had been touched by magic. Just as Graham was about to take another bite, a sudden darkness fell upon the hall. A monstrous creature named Typhon had arrived, creating chaos and fear among the gods. Graham watched as the gods used their powers to protect themselves, but it was clear they needed help. Feeling brave and determined, Graham stood up and shouted, "I will help you defeat Typhon." The gods turned to look at him, their eyes filled with surprise and hope. With a newfound courage, Graham picked up a golden sword that Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths, had crafted, and he charged towards Typhon. With every swing of his sword, Graham felt his strength and bravery grow. The battle raged on, but Graham's determination never wavered. With the gods cheering him on, Graham struck a mighty blow, finally defeating Typhon. The palace erupted in applause, and the gods showered Graham with praise and gratitude. As the sun began to rise, Graham knew it was time to return home. Pegasus soared down from the sky, and Graham climbed onto his back. With a final farewell from the gods, Pegasus carried Graham back to his room in Meadowbrook. Graham opened his eyes, back in his cozy bed. The soft glow that had enveloped his room slowly faded away, but the memory of his extraordinary journey remained. Graham snuggled under his blanket, feeling brave and loved, as sleep gently embraced him. From that night on, Graham's dreams were filled with adventures and the knowledge that he was capable of great things. And every time he closed his eyes, he knew that the gods would be watching over him, protecting him on his own extraordinary journey through life. The end.
Thank you for joining us on this enchanting journey. If you enjoyed tonight's story, remember, the magic doesn't have to end here. Craft your own adventure with TaleBot by visiting talebotai.com/create. And as a special treat, use the coupon code TALE99 at checkout to get your bedtime story for just 99 cents, instead of the usual $2.99. Sweet dreams, and until our next tale.